What's going on, YouTube? Time for another recap. We had another exciting day. We did post some live trading today in pre-market. If you missed that, link in the description. Check it out if you want to see. Now, let's get into some of the recaps and a little bit of an update on Apex. Apex trading here. We had a really good day today. As you can see across the board, I didn't really have to do too much on the PA accounts. I have $100,000 accounts. We have 6 of them. Respecting the 30% rule, I cannot make anything more than $930 a day. So if I go through all my PA real accounts here, you'll see that every single one is at $937 because we had all 6 linked this morning on the PA accounts, and all of them are up. So we made just under $6,000 today on the PA payouts. And yeah, that was it. And then we did another 2,400 on the big account. So really massive day today, just under 8,000. So let's take a peek. So everybody loves their proof in the pudding, right? So you're looking at Tradeovate right here. This is what I trade on manually here. I got all my accounts grouped up into certain sectors here. These are my oldest accounts right here. Each one of my PA accounts has about $7,322 in them. So I got about $37,000 in payouts coming for the end of February here. Depending on the payout, obviously we're not going to blow these accounts up. We trade these every day manually live, and we do quite well. So let's get into the PAs. Now, people love the proof in the pudding. They always, get their insecurities going. So they got to jump online and show me your history because I can't do it. There's no way you can do it. And we love those people around here. So we'll jump right in. This does not reflect, obviously, today's trade day. This is another $1,000 added to all this. Now you can take a peek at all my PA accounts right here. 3 of the funded are at 6,400 profit. The other 3 I just hit 900 on are all in profit as well. So not only do we have 2 payouts stacked up on the top 3 accounts, 8, 9, and 10, we have another one. So we have 3 $7,500 payouts coming on top of the $7,500 we just took out. So not too bad. So let's take a peek because you guys love the proof in the pudding here. I've not taken a single red day. I have 20 days green straight on the PA accounts. You can prove that by coming up here on the profit loss. Yeah, I mean, this is what you guys really want to see. A lot of questions on this stuff. I'm 121 days green from last year total on the big account, as well as this. The stuff's easy. We do it every morning. You can trade live with me in the morning. I conduct tons of pre-market, post-market analysis for our team and trade live and talk ourselves through the trade. I'm not an alert service. I'm not here to feed you money, but I will teach you how to trade. And yeah, so let's go over the profit loss here. So first day, $230. Second, $454.62. Third, $402. $240. $508. $772. $1,168. $224. $350. $85, still a green. It says minus 1842, but this is day 10. So this is my payout. So this was actually, if you minus the payout of 1846, I actually made $686 here. So this is not a negative bounce. This is my first $2,500. It's 10 days from the payout. So this is my little dip. For whatever reason, it shows a loss, but there was no loss. This is my first payout that I got. I'll post that live video too. Next day, again, this was 686 green. This was not a red. This was a $25 payout. Next green, 334. Next green, 217. Next green, 165. Next green, 360. Next green, 450, 500, 785, 511, 500, and then today is 930. So I have 21 trade days on these accounts and 6 trade days on these. I can look at the other PA accounts if you want here too and go to the chart. There's 0 red days, 674, 500, 790, 560, 500 yesterday, and of course today 930, right, as we just proved. So all these are good for payouts. We got about $37,000 for the end of February here on provable payouts. I'll post a video, I guess, if you really want to see the payouts. My first one's a 7,500. It's really not that big of a deal to me. I don't know. I don't get the whole crying about other people's P&Ls. It doesn't make you rich watching somebody else's pockets, that's for sure. Let's get into today, all right? So we had a prediction of most likely a burn day if we open up inside the candle, and we're still looking for that downside gap fill here. So let's take a peek at what SPY happened to do here and take a peek at what we got. Now, intraday, I fibbed out a couple different things here for the strategy today because we have earnings after hours. So a lot of the times when we have real big pools of earnings like Apple and so on and so forth, we're going to have opportunity to get stuck, right? We're going to have burn days where the FOMC had this massive leg down. Of course, that's going to get bought back up, squeeze out the shorts that geniusly shorted at the end of the day. For no reason, don't do that. And then as it comes into confirmation, a lower high from FOMC, this is where that next short is going to build up to a lower high from yesterday, right? So what do we have for the metrics? Well, we have the gap. We have a couple different ones. Let's go over Qs and this, but I did the same old strategy. I grabbed the algo candle after hours, right? that happened to be at the daily gap level. Now, we made a video of this as well. This is a daily gap. There's a sliver there, and that has to fill coming down, hopefully after earnings. I'm hoping we get some nothing sandwiches like all Apple and Amazon, everything in line, and then kind of dumps, because if we gap and go to the downside and leave this double gap, we will come back with a vengeance, but we'll deal with that when it comes. Now, for today, we had a really good short, really good long. We actually called a lot of these. We'll go to TradingView next. So today, volume area high and a float here. So we had a really good short call into an extension of volume area highs here. Let's go to the minute chart because it looks a little bit better. We're scalping the minute. We had tons of divergence here on this one with oscillation indicators on SPY. And this is how we made 8 grand. So higher low, higher highs today. We always play the VWAP extensions, right? We had a +2 extension here, +2 extension here. And most importantly, this dashed blue line, that is the 10 SMA daily chart moving average, but is coded into our 1 minute chart for custom codes through BRT. So we have those codes that can help you out here. And the 10 SMA was a back test, right? Now this was a perfect to the penny back test, but obviously the 10 SMA is forever moving and calculated. So when we called this long, which makes me very sad, so we called the exact bottom there for a long and waited for a tag of a little bit lower, but we scalped this one and we said it could come back up for a structured lower high, and it actually squeezed out. So you had a lot more long on that one, which made me pretty sad. But 10 SMA daily here, we had a perfect tag short and we had the fall. And what could we have learned from that for the oscillation indicators on the 1 minute? Well, we had a lot of divergence here. We had a lower high in the RSI. We had a break in the 50. So a lot of the time when you see the RSI coming from the low channel, break, comes back up for the lower high and then starts trend, you're waiting for a pinnacle level, a premium level, while the oscillation indicators are working out their trend. We obviously have a lower high down here on the MAC as well. And you see we have a bigger sell wave. The sell wave on the histogram is taller than the next green wave. So if I were to come in here and measure these, right, and I say, okay, this wave height is 0.062 for the green here. We'll call it 6.6. And then the height of the sell wave is 0.8, right? 0.08. So the sell wave on the histogram down here is larger, which means sellers are in control, even though we're getting these force pop squeeze ups, because it's gearing up for a lagged move to the downside. Now, we could have told that from the histogram. You could have told that from the RSI coming down for a low, and our friend the VIX hitting up some big ones. So let's go to the VIX real quick, as we have all that divergence for that short coming up into the big market, 10 SMA, so on and so forth. Let's look at the VIX volatility index. Now, this is a good one because it did leave support and gaps both open. Now, yesterday, don't forget this guy right here is still open. There's a 5-minute gap at 1354. We'll have to test that at some point. So if something happens with earnings or after, or this is a big run up to the $16+ range, it will eventually come back down to that 1344. But we'll get into that when it comes in the next few days. But the VIX was a really good telltale sign here for that big push up as well. Why was that? Well, we could see the VIX reversal and squeeze right here. So once the VIX started taking off from double bottom support, right, we had a breakaway. We had to come back in the MAC right here, and we still had a really good chance to break out. Now, the thing is, when VIX leaves these intraday gaps, they fill same day a lot of the time. And this is a big metric for how we scalp day trades around here. So these 5-minute candles that are created for gaps on the VIX would tell you directional picks. We have gap 1 and gap 2 right here, okay? And when price action is forced up this fast, this high, and we're coming into an overhot, right? So we're overbought. We're coming into the standard deviation +2, which is extremely rare. This is a really big long signal. And why is this a long signal? Because the VIX is extended. It does not go outside of +2 standard deviation very often at all. This is insane. And what else do we have? We have gaps. So they need to fill to the downside, right? So this VIX top right here into the deviation second, into a premium level of 1458, and into a deviation breakdown, into RSI, into, there's a whole bunch of everything overbought. That would tell you that this is a long signal for the market. So let's look at this right here. The area was about 1025, close to Euro close as well. And where was our 1025 mark? Right here, telling you that the market was going to go long. And this is right where we called a bottom scalp too. And where's that bottom scalp come in? Let's take a peek at TradingView, and I'll show you how we regapped those real fast as well. Okay, here's TradingView on the SPY. Now, the bottom here was from an opening range gap. So you notice on TradingView, I'm not using, I'll go to the 5 minutes. It's a little easier here. I'm not using pre-market hours here, okay? So what I did was I took the gap up at open and I fibbed the gap, because gaps are the most predominantly the best thing you could possibly do. I'm I'm going to scoot in here. You're going to see the first 5-minute candle of the day. And what I did was I took a Fibonacci. I'll redraw it for you guys. And I took the open. Just about. It's kind of hard to see. I'm blind. There. And then I took it down to here. So there's a gap from the open to yesterday's price action. Open to candle wick, okay? That gave me the Fibonacci upside, right? And knowingly, I have a gap right here, and this is my fib box. We talk about fibs all the time. Here's my fib box in between 484.62, 484.2. See? That's my fib box, right? So my fib box has an opportunity to fill and go long from this gap. So what do gaps like to do? They love to fill, especially same day. So when we were calling that short up here, we came all the way down. I said, oh, here's the gap fill. This is the ending fill. We're going to go long right here. So we called a long scalp. And best case scenario, we would have went a little lower, but Qs had a little bit of an upset. Plus, we got this awkward squeeze back up and some VIX support ahead of time. But regardless, this gap and where the fibs are, that was the long right there. And you had to use a hard open close stop out. So you wanted some candles to really develop under there to stop out. But that was your long zone, right? That's a fair value gap. Huge one right here and a regular gap with no pre-market. So we had a beautiful long display up here. I did not think it was going to go all the way back up this high, but we did end up completing the Fibonacci, like always, right? Our beautiful Fibonacci's here, 423.60. Now look at that, right? So if we would have squeezed out, we have the fib range here. After the 161 was hit, very minimally here, goes up to the 261, flops all the way down to fill the whole fib box, breaks out through the 161, 261, 4236. And that would have been your final target, 423, 4.236, 486.57 on the fibs. Now, that whole entire cluster was developed literally just off one gap, right? And if you use that one gap with oscillation indicators, right, you would have seen that you had an opportunity to fill that gap and go long. And you can see the higher low here on RSI, low, higher high break through the 50, looking pretty good. And I'm sure we got the same on the Mac. Let's open that guy up here. Oh, she's way down here. There we go. Beautiful higher low with small sell wave. So inverted, we were talking about before. Look at this. This dip into the gap, that's the fill, right? And we had a small histogram wave on the sell side. So small sell wave, which means what? That means buyers are in control. And we are looking for the higher low to push further higher, right? Because we got the small wave in histogram. And the 5-minute chart was telling you that this was a good bottom for that gap. So last but not least, let's get into the free Twitter play I posted, or X rather. So we'll go over to X real quick. We'll hop on to the account. Feel free to give me a follow down here. I do post a few free plays for you guys. I try to at least one a morning. The free one today was in pre-market around 5 a.m. I posted 1 minute ES, has a 4887 gap, needs testing back down short, capital letters, go short. So this is where the live trade is. So again, if you missed the live trade, I'll post it in the description below and you can see it. I shorted the lower high right here, all the way down to here, and I talked about it the whole way coming back down to volume area high, and of course the gap I called right here at 4887. And let's go take a peek how that played out. Boom, onto the Twitter post. Here's the P&Ls, blah, 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 and here's that goal. So again, I said there was going to be a perfect short back down to this gap because 1 minute gaps tend to fill same day. Now, of course, anomalies do happen, but we were perfectly in line with that. And then POC. So you had a lower high short call. You had a whole like 8 points down. I took one trade on the PA account. So it was literally 4 ES contracts down, $1,000 piece, one and done. Then I switched to the big account today. So another free X play there. So, you know, if you enjoy those or like scalping or day trading, you know, give us a follow over there. If you want to trade with me live, there is links in the description. If you want to sign up with Apex and you find value in these videos and you'd like to support me, sign up with the link. Stay tuned for the next one. We will have a prediction video up later and I will get back to you guys soon.